Welcome. My name is Draft Raw, and I am doing a special series. It is the 32 for 32 series. It is 32 NFL team drafts for 32 straight days. And in this video, as you can see at the title, I am doing the New England Patriots. Now, I've already done the NFC North and the AFC North. And I've already done the NFC East. And so now I've just started the AFC East. And the first team is being, obviously, the New England Patriots. If you want to see any of the videos that I've done in my past, you can look in the description box below. And any videos that I will do in the future for this 32 for 32 series, it will be in the box below. So please feel free to check that out. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. With the very first pick in the second round, the New England Patriots selected safety from Illinois Reign, Kyle Duggar. Now, in looking at my notes of when I was watching Kyle Duggar, is that sometimes he takes poor angles, but is a solid tackler, and he seemed like a hybrid type of free safety, strong safety type of player with pretty good range. There wasn't, because he played in small competition, it was kind of hard to judge most of the stuff that I saw. The taking the poor angles is something that he can work on, and it's very coachable, but it's a situation where if you're taking poor angles while you're playing against the smaller school guys, what are you going to do against the big time guys? Even though I think that he's a pretty good solid player, I think that he has the athleticism. I think that he has the strength. I think that he has certain little key things in his game that can work within the NFL and higher competition. But that's a big thing that, he really does need to work on, because he is a very, very solid tackler. He just needs to be able to make sure he takes the best angle that he can take to get to the ball carrier. Then the other thing is that he was a hybrid type of guy. A lot of times you saw him in the box, and then sometimes you saw him playing in a free safety role. I don't know exactly what the Patriots going to do. I probably feel as though they're probably going to take a guy like a Devin McCourty and put him out there as a free range, free safety, deep cover free safety, while having a guy like Kyle Duggar playing more in the box as a strong safety. But I know that McCourty gives you ability to also, he can play in a box a little bit as well. So maybe they'll use them both as an interchangeable safety. To me, there's no way you draft Duggar and just not play him as a starter. So I think that he has the ability, he has a chance to be a starter for the Patriots defense, but we'll see as time goes on when it comes to him as a player. Hopefully Bill Belichick can get the little cons here or there that's out, take all the little tinkering, and maybe he can make him into a better player than what he is right now. Then with the second pick that was also in the second round, they decided to select Josh Uche, edge rusher from Michigan. Now, when it comes to Uche, he's a very athletic player. He has a lot of energy. Willing rusher, but more of an off-the-ball linebacker that should just rush on third downs. He drops in coverage well, and he carries a good initial punch. Anytime you see him when the ball snaps and he comes off the line of scrimmage, he always usually have a pretty good little punch to him. He was actually unusually stronger than what he looked and what you would think he would be, because he's a 6'1", 240-pound guy, and he's like pushing 300-pounders back into quarterbacks' laps. You don't usually see that a lot, especially with a guy like him. And like I said, to me, I thought he was more of an off-the-ball linebacker. What he showed up in the Senior Bowl, he showed some cover skills, and then you had the situations of where what he showed in what he actually showed on tape during games. They showed him dropping back in coverage. He actually showed some solid cover skills there. It wasn't always the one-on-one cover skills exactly when it came to the actual game tape that I watched, but I did see him drop back in coverage and having a good feeling zone. But then at the Senior Bowl, he showed that he could stick with some of those tight ends in one-on-one coverage. So this is a guy that's a chess piece that can do a lot of different things. Hopefully, this is not another Hassan Reddick. Hopefully that's not him. Hopefully he's a better player than that. But when you take what Hassan Reddick was and who Josh Uche is, they're pretty similar. But hopefully this guy can actually hone into being a better player than what a guy like Reddick was. And we'll see. We'll see when it's all said and done. But I think that he's going to be a really, really good player and a really good chess piece for a guy like Bill Belichick. Then going into the third round with their third pick, they decided to select Affronti Jennings, a linebacker from Alabama. He was an all-around type of linebacker, DN type of prospect. Really nothing special. I think that he was just a do-your-job type of guy. And that's what the Patriots like most of the time. They like guys that just do their job. You know, we're not... If your job is to rush the passer, rush the passer. Don't sit there and punch and then try to see what's going on. No, just rush the passer. That's what Bill Belichick told you to do. If you're supposed to drop back 10 yards in the zone coverage, drop back 10 yards in the zone coverage. That's all he's going to ask you. And that's what type of player that Affronti Jennings is. He seemed like a guy that he always does his job and always does what he's supposed to do. And I think that this was actually a perfect pick for a guy like Bill Belichick, especially because he gives you the ability, just like a Josh Uche, to play both kind of DN and linebacker, even though I think Jennings is definitely a linebacker. And Uche, I still consider him a linebacker, but on third downs, maybe they can give the Patriots a little bit more when it comes to their pass rush. You know, you take out a guy like a Chase Winovich and whoever else who's trying to rush the passer for the Patriots defense, and now you're adding guys you're bringing in more players that, you know, when you get to that point, you know, it's not just two guys rushing the passer, maybe there's a third. Now you have another two guys that can come out there and can rush the passer as well. Even if they're not great at it, they can still get after the quarterback. Then with the fourth pick in the third round, this is where in the fourth and fifth pick, they actually went back-to-back tight ends. And I would have to say this, I like what they did with the back-and-back tight ends. First one was Devin Lucien, tight end from UCLA. Watching this tape, he was a good route runner. Pretty good hands, underrated speed. I think he had very, very underrated speed. Something that if you watch the combine, you know he ran like a 4.7, but I think that he actually plays a little bit faster than what that 4.7 was. Nice body control to block out defenders. There was a certain plays where I saw that like I said, he will block out the defender and be able to catch the football. When the defender's trying to run through him or they're trying to, they're covering this guy one-on-one, instead of letting the defender get in front of him, or instead of letting the defender kind of body him out and knock down a pass or even try to get an interception, there was a lot of times where it was a post-up play, like in basketball when you're posted up to the rim. You know, you ever seen Shaq back in the day post up at the rim, get the ball, passing the ball, and he's boom, 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 and then he turns around, dunk or layup or whatever. But it just seemed like that's what he was doing, and that's what Devin Lucien does really, really well. His body control is pretty darn good, and the body control is not just with the blocking out defenders, it's also with his route running. Being able to, like I said, he's not super fast, even though I think he played faster. I think his quickness shows a lot, and maybe it's not just quickness, it's actually his body control that shows up in his route running, where you'll see him, and it's not a lot of fakes. It's just the quick movement of the foot and be able to control your body to a point where the defender may not know where you're going to go, and then all of a sudden you make that cut and you're catching the ball, and it's a first down. And that's what I think that Devin Lucien brings a lot, and he brings that type of ability to a Patriots offense that really, really, really needs a tight end. Then they double back with the tight end situation, and then they select Virginia Tech Dalton King. To me, he reminded me a little bit of Aaron Hernandez. He was an H-back type of guy, a move tight end. A little bit like a Delaney Walker, kind of Kyle Juszczyk-ish. You know, it was situations where you see him, and he was a pretty good blocker. He has pretty good hands. He's not what you call a route runner, but he's a guy that you kind of, on rollout plays, you throw it to him in a flat. The type of dude that maybe on certain times you send him out there and he'll run like a post or a corner. But it was kind of a limited route tree of exactly what he ran. But you did like him a lot because even like Hernandez, they did split him out wide and had him run some routes on the outside like a wide receiver. So there's a lot of versatility with a guy like a Dalton King. And maybe this is something where the Patriots get back to what they had in both Gronkowski and Hernandez now that they have Asiasi and King. Maybe this is a situation where, I'm just saying I mean, and Asiasi is not that bad of a blocker neither in his own right. On top of that, as well as King being not the better, so they're bringing in guys that they fit the system and that we've seen have worked within that system and within the NFL. Then with their I guess it's the sixth pick in the fifth round. They selected a kicker. I don't study kickers. I don't even care what his name is. I'm just gonna say I really don't care. It's just a kicker. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. We're just gonna go to their seventh pick, and they selected Michael Onwenu. I don't know how to say his last name, but I know he is the offensive guard from Michigan. Probably. I don't want to say it like this, but probably the worst offensive lineman at Michigan. Probably the worst one that started for the team this year. And that's not saying that he's a bad player, but you know, when you got guys like Ruiz and Runyon and Brennison, you know what I mean? He was the worst one of the bunch, but he wasn't a bad player. But he just reminded me of your typical Big Ten offensive lineman that really didn't have great feet. Next, they selected Justin Herron. I believe he played at Justin Herron. What he played at? Wake Forest. Offensive tackle from Wake Forest. Not very strong in the run game. And actually, when I look at Justin Herron, to me, looking back at I would grade him higher than Michael. He would be have a higher grade, and not because he's a tackle, just because he's just a better overall player. I thought he was a great technician in pass. He had really, really great feet. The only thing he does is that he just lacks length. You know, he's got like less than 9-inch hands, and he got like 33-inch arms. So there's a little bit more there to be desired in terms of the length. But he's still got the size, and his feet are absolutely beastly. He could turn out to be one of these late round steal offensive tackles that can become not just a regular starting tackle, but a left tackle in the NFL. And maybe that's something he can carve out a role in later on in his career if their starting left tackle, Isaiah Wynn, doesn't work out. Maybe that's something that they can even think of using a guy like Justin Herron and putting him out there. And I know that they're probably worried about injuries a little bit. I remember they signed, maybe it was last year, with the guy from Trent Brown. They signed Trent Brown, I believe. Oh no, the Patriots signed Trent Brown. Or whatever, however it was. I mean, the Raiders signed. I don't know exactly how that whole thing worked out, but still, a guy like Justin Herron is going to be a really, really good player for the Patriots team. Next, they selected Cash Maluia. I didn't have a lot of tape on him, so I can't really say much about him, and I'm not going to read someone else's analysis to give to you, so we're just going to skip him. But with that very last pick, they decided to select another offensive lineman, and that was Dustin Woodard. He's a center from Memphis. Didn't really like his tape as much because he lacks length and size, but he's super tough. He just has really, really bad feet. He's not athletic, and in some blocks, he actually ends up lunging instead of using technique to block a player. I think that overall, as I look at this whole draft, I think it's a solid draft. I think it's a Patriot type of draft. No, I don't think it's a great draft. But they addressed some needs in players at certain positions that they feel as though they can work into possibly becoming starters in the eventual future for the team. So anyway, that's what I thought about the draft. Patriots, y'all did a solid job. It was solid job. It wasn't great, but it was still okay. Once again, my name is Draft Raw. If you want to see any future videos or past videos, look in that description box below. I appreciate anybody who's watching this video. And once again, like I said, this is the 32 for 32 series. I hope to see y'all watching more of these videos, and just stay safe. COVID-19, coronavirus, Draft Raw, out.